So I'm back. First start after doing all the repairs with this 1976 9.9. Just to go through what I did to it. Freed up the tiller. You've seen that previously. I couldn't resist to wash and wax and touch up the cover. Looks really nice. Rubber seal is nice and supple. Clean up really nice. It's amazing. The opposite side. I haven't run it. The only thing I did was squirt a little ether in here. When I had the airbox off, I squirt some ether in here, and it just popped a little bit. So I'm going to try to start it for the first time, and you're going to witness it initially. Again, this is one of the 3 motors I got from my neighbor's garage for $50, which I thank God was a steal. I changed the rubber hose from here to the fuel pump. Also, the gasket on the fuel pump was hard as a rock. Here it is here. I changed it with a new one. And also, the plastic connector to the hose just fell apart trying to take it off. It was just so brittle and dry rotted. So I put another connector on there, new tire wraps. And I also changed the fuel line on my fuel hose because that was a problem too. It was leaking everywhere. So now I'm going to pump it up for the first time, and if it kicks, I'll turn the water on. Or runs, actually. You can see the ground is dry. I have not run it. And I'm going to pump it up. Hopefully there's no more gas leaks. If not, I'll have to fix it. And we'll take it from there. Oh, after doing all those checks with the ignition, changing the coils, doing the grounds, changing the driver coil, cleaning the points, UL81Js, there was no spark. That was the problem, was the spark plugs. I checked the continuity from here to the center electrode. There's no continuity. Now, I don't know what happened to both of them. I don't know the reason why. Maybe somebody hooked up, I don't know, maybe battery ignition to them or something. I don't know, from another motor. I know Mercury's use battery ignition. I don't know what happened to these. Somehow they just don't work. And they don't look too bad either. That's the funny thing about it. So let me pump it up, see if there's any gas leaks, and see if she starts. And if she starts and runs, I'll shut her down, and I'll turn the water on. Don't forget to choke it. Here it goes. Hopefully there's no leaks. We'll see. I just have enough gas to pump it up, too. Probably like 1/8 of a tank in here. Oh, hold on a second. I got the fuel line backwards. Okay, so I had to put clamps on my hose. I didn't have enough clamps on it, on the bulb, and tie wraps on the ends. I was sucking the air. So we'll see what happens now. Pump it up. I don't see any leaks yet. We got it choked to neutral. Here goes. Wish me luck, folks. Is it going to start or is it not going to start? That is the question. Oh, that's that lockout again. Let's lower it a little bit. There. Okay. I don't think she's getting fuel. Pump it up some more. Carburetor float, guaranteed. Right, try it again. Nope. Okay, gonna pull the carburetor. That's next. Can't expect it to be that easy. So when I took the airbox off to pull the carburetor to clean it, I seen the choke handle rod is not in the slot. So that's not going to make it start either. So I'm going to fix that and see what happens. All right, so now I got the choke working. Let's try it again before I pull the carburetor. Now, I pulled it quite a few times, so I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. No. Let's try with ether again. It's going to kick right over now. Watch. Oh, make a liar out of me. All right. That's enough. So I didn't have the fuel bowl pumped up hard enough. I disconnected the hose line from the motor and put another engine side fitting on it. And the fuel was hardly coming out when I pumped it with the bowl, just barely. Then finally, whatever air was in there got out of there. But I had to put this on the existing fuel line and pump it to get the air out of it. So I don't know. And then I pulled it and it kicked over. So let's see what happens now. Yeah, just not getting gas. So I'm going to continue on to carburetor and take it from there. As you see, there's no water on the ground. I did not run it with water yet. Take the recoil off so I can get to the carburetor bolts. 9/16. So what I do here is, it's a little tricky taking this thing out of here. A lot easier taking the pull starter off with the flywheel off, but you work it out and you keep it together as you're working it out. And then I put a wing nut on the end to keep it all together from the spring unraveling. And they're a little awkward to put back in because you got to line up this pin back here. This tab's got to line in with this hole before you sock the screw down tight. And again, you just got to keep this thing together when you work it out to put that wing nut on there. So now I'm going to take off the screw right here in the washer. Take this throttle piece off so I can get to the inside nut. Pop the two nuts off. Disconnect the choke. It's already disconnected. Disconnect the fuel line, and then I'll take the carburetor apart. Hopefully I'll find the obvious blockage. Now there's a washer right in here. So when you're backing the screw out, don't lose it. Problem is you got to back out the screw just about all the way to get it off. Then the screw falls down in the pan and then you got to hunt for it. I got the screw. Up, drop the screw. 1 out of 2 ain't bad. So I'm going to continue and take these two nuts off and the hose and open up the carburetor, and I'll show you. So with the recoil out of the way, as you can see, and 2 nuts are off, I'm going to clip my... Oh, another thing too, turn the carburetor upside down, no gas. Now I pumped it up, so I know this is blocked. So again, this is all par for the course, sitting for 30 years in his garage. So important thing basically is You can see the bottom of the bowl isn't rusted. These steel bowls rust. I've seen them rust all the way through. This one's like new almost. Still got the plating on it. So, but I'll take the carb into the shop and clean it. I'll show you what I get when I show you what it looks like when I get inside it. Okay. So I got the carb open and it's very clean inside. So that was not the problem. Gas was in the carburetor. When I took it apart, a substantial amount came out. So it was getting in, but the problem is not getting up through the center here. So I'm going to take out the metering tube and make sure it's all clean. Take the float off. You know, the seat works and everything. What you can do basically is, when you have it, turn it like this. Then you can blow in the gas line, raise the float up with your finger, and then it'll shut off. So that's working. We know gas was getting in, but it's probably not getting up through here. So let's pop that out of there. So I took the main metering jet out, and it's blocked. Well, partially. I could hardly blow through it at all. So I'm going to clean it out. Guitar string works. Piece of wire, thin piece of wire, paper clip might even go through it. But I'm going to clean that out and put the carburetor. I'm going to blow the whole carburetor out while I have it apart. But this is definitely the main problem here. So, again, you know, it's sitting for 30 years. Got to expect something. Okay. Actually, looking at this jet before I cleaned it out, she's blocked all the way. That hole should be open. So, again, I'm being that I'm a guitar player. I have strings always laying around, so I'll probably take like a G string and, you know, force it through there and clean it out and just make sure it's wide open. But that's why she didn't start. No fuel. But that's my routine, you know. When I get a motor, no matter what it is, spark first, clean the carburetor second, get it running. If it's not pumping water, change the water pump, impeller, or the complete kit, whatever you want to do. Those three things, as simple as it is. I tell people over and over. Spark first. Anything with points, you got to polish it. Anything with CDI. CDI is usually came out in 77. It was much hardier ignition system and all hermetically sealed. They last a very long time. The coils are pretty much the main problem with that. And once in a while, the trigger coils. But yeah, so spark, carburetor dirty. Sometimes a fuel pump too. You know, the fuel pumps could be bad because the diaphragms dry up. Pressure tank motors, you don't have to worry about that. After 1958, they had fuel pumps on them, OMC. But this, clean out this metering jet, put this guy back together, and she should run. I hope so. Unless something else pops up, which could happen. So hold on there and we'll see what happens. Well, here I got the high-speed jet cleaned out. It's a number 40, by the way. It's a tiny hole. I mean, this is a guitar. I think it's a B string. It's a B string are probably about 12, 13 thousandths, and it just goes through the hole. So that hole is definitely prone to getting dirt blocked. Now the 15s, I don't know what the jet size is, but it's probably I don't know, maybe a number 50, 48, I don't know. But let's get this carburetor back together and stop procrastinating. So here I got it all back together. Carburetor's clean. I did end up taking the flywheel off, so I didn't have the nut torque yet. And pop the flywheel off. It's much easier setting the recoil, especially if you're somebody who doesn't have experience to set this. So I just advise anybody who changes the rope on a pull starter or the spring. The spring's a lot of fun too. It's real long, the spring. It's got to be 25 feet long. and you got to wrap it in there, one coil at a time. It takes a little dexterity. But anyway, take the flywheel off to put the pull starter back on. Just my advice. Now I got it pumped up. Let's see if it starts now. Got it choked. Okay, I'm gonna put the water on. That's the first time it's run in over 30 years. Always better to submerge the motors, my opinion, especially if anything that's been sitting for years and years. But for now, I got the flush attachment. Let's see what happens. See if I can keep it running, see if the fuel pump is good, see if there's any kind of water coming out the exhaust. Running real good. I didn't even adjust the carburetor. No water yet, so. Is that amazing or what? After 30-something years. I'm not getting no water coming out. So my next attack's going to be thermostat cover. Make sure the thermostat's not stuck. If that, probably the water pump impeller. These motors had didn't have the troublesome grommet in them on the water tube as much as the later models did. So I'm hoping it's not the water grommet. The water tube grommet swelled. I don't think so, but it's not overheating yet, so let's see what happens. Now I'm thinking I'm not sure, but with this modified kit, I think the discharge water comes out the bottom here. I'm getting warm water out of there, but nothing out of here. So I don't know if that's has any bearing on it or not. But if I And I think the fuel pump's no good. I'm not sure, but I don't have a lot of gas in the tank either, so. I'm getting like 120, 130 on the cylinder head, which isn't bad. The thermostat's right. It's working. If there's no thermostat, that's a little hot. But I'm thinking possibly down below. Although the block is hot to the touch. I'm going to pull the thermostat out. That's the next thing to do. Like I said, points. First, carburetor, water pump. I forgot to mention in between the carburetor, once you get it running, if you get no water coming out the exhaust, pull the thermostat out. And those three things with the thermostat, which is actually four things, is what you have to do with these 9915s. Okay, so that's just the way I do it. Yeah, I have a video I made a while back, a short, on one of these same motors, a short shaft, running with no thermostat, and the water coming out that exhaust, it's like you could take a shower under it. I mean, just pouring out of there. But anyway, so I'm going to pull the thermostat out, and I'll let you know what I come across. So I took all the screws, came out like a freshwater motor. Not a lot of salt inside here either. But the motor, the temperature's about 125, 130 degrees, and this thermostat's stuck shut. So out with the thermostat. You can see that it's been run in salt water. Maybe not a lot, but it's been run in salt water, because that's all we have around here. That's legal with outboards. So I'm going to kick it over with the cover off and see what kind of water flow we get. And if you get nothing, then you got to go below, water pump. So let's see if we can get water out of here. So we're getting good water flow. The whole pan's full. Stuck thermostat, folks. That's what I'm telling you. Again, this motor's sitting for 30 years, so I'm giving it an excuse. But I recommend keeping thermostats out or change them every 2 years in saltwater environments. That's only my advice. I don't like them. That's on my hate list.